In this Blender quick tip, I would like to talk with you about the Shear tool. I'm going to give you two examples of how you can use the Shear tool. So what I've got here is an image that I got from the internet. I just searched for picture frame profile, and I'll link you to this if you want to do this with me. And you can find these images to do like trim around a wall, or like I say, a picture frame. And what I want to do is I just brought that in and I moved it back a little bit. And I'm going to select it and press G, and I'm just going to drag this so that the 3D cursor here, this circle, is pretty much down in the corner of that. And I'm going to trace the outside of this. So to do that, I'm going to bring in a plane, go into edit mode and press merge at center. So I have just one point there. It's a little hard to see, so what I'll do is I'll select this and I'll come over here to this icon here, and I'm going to put a check mark there, and I'm just going to bring down the opacity. And then I'm going to come back to my point, go into edit mode, press E to extrude, pull up, and I'm going to just trace. I'm going to press E and pull out, and just sort of simulate this curve. It doesn't have to be exact or anything. We're going to be smoothing this later. Okay, so come up like that, and I'll just come up straight, come straight across, and then we'll do this piece here. And extrude down to here, and I'm going to select both of these points, press F to make a face, and then I want them sort of at 0 along the Z, so I'm going to go SZ0, that'll straighten them out. A to select it all, F to make a face, and I'm really done with this now, so I'm going to delete it. There's my profile. And what I'm going to do is go into edit mode and select it and give it some length, just pull it out like that. Press 1 to look from the front, and I'm going to rotate 90 like that, and then I'm going to rotate Z. I think it's minus 90. So pull it back like this. So I want to make a picture frame out of this, and this is why I'm going to use the Shear tool. So I'm just sort of centering that a bit more. So what I'll do is I'm going to go into wireframe, and I'm going to box select all of this, and Shift S, cursor to selected. Bring my 3D cursor there. And I'm going to use the Shear tool to create the notches that I need in this. All right, so I'm going to scroll down until I see this sort of eraser-like thing, like that, and I'll get these kind of handles on this. And I'm going to pull this out like this so you can see what it's doing. And the nice thing about the Shear tool is it doesn't warp the rest of this. It doesn't make this narrower and this wider or vice versa. So I pull that, and then I'm not sure if that's the exact angle I want, so I'm going to open the menu that comes along, and I want to change the offset here to 1. And now that's what I want. Now I'm going to box select here. Remember, I'm in wireframe, and I'm going to pull this way. Just pull it as much as you want. You can do that if you want. I just need to set this at -1. So this side was 1, this is -1. We're basically done with the Shear tool. I may just lengthen that out. It's up to you how you want to create this. I'm going to go back into solid mode, and you can see that's the piece I've got there. Now you decide if you want to keep this face or get rid of it. I'll keep it for now, and we'll see what's going to happen here. So I'm going to Shift D to duplicate, and G, just drag this out of the way. And I'll do this in object mode. I'm going to rotate 90. And then I want to switch this to, I think I'll use snap to vertex. Might be a bit more accurate. Press G, pull this over, sort of get it close, and then press G and hold down Control as you sort of slide along these vertices. Now you will have to see it's out in front, so I'm going to move in the Y, GY, and sort of snap back to there, and just look and see if it looks like it's made a good connection. I think it has, so that's good. All right. Now I'm going to take this piece and Shift S, cursor to selected, bring my 3D cursor there, and then take this and set the origin to the 3D cursor, and I can mirror that piece over to the other side. Now, if it's going weird, just remember I edited it a little bit. I rotated it in object mode. So I'm going to press Control A and just rotation and scale. I have to set that back. All right, and then I'll take this piece here. I'll go into edit mode to do this one. Shift D to duplicate, pull it down. I'm going to rotate 180 degrees and take this and see if I can snap it in. Let's get a little closer. G, and maybe I can use that point. And I think we've got it. Yeah, and there's our nice picture frame. All right, so we use the shear tool to do this kind of thing. And you could use this if you needed to do the wooden sort of arch or frame of a door or some kind of other wood-like thing. All right, so there's one use of the shear tool. I use that all the time. Another one is with making joints in pipes. So I'm going to bring in a cylinder, and I'll go for something like 22 vertices. I'm going to put nothing for the ends so that it's open. It's a little easier to do it that way. And I'm going to scale this in the Z, make it a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to rotate 90 like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into wireframe, and I'm going to select these vertices here in the middle. Now I'm going to get the both of them, and I'm going to press Shift S, cursor to select it. So this is what I've got. My 3D cursor is right here, and I've selected those middle points. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over here to 3D cursor, and I'm going to box select all these points, including that one. And I've switched over to 3D cursor. I'm going to come back to my shear tool, and I'm going to push this like this, and then I'm going to set this to -1. So I've got that nice piece. So it comes down, and halfway down it goes straight. Now I'm going to select everything, and because I've got my pivot there, I can go Shift-D, rotate Z 180, and that'll flip a copy right over to the other side around this pivot. Then select A, merge by distance, and you will have gotten rid of some vertices. I can now come out of this, back to that, and go back to median point, and Alt-A to deselect, and then I'm going to box select or border select all of those for this V-shaped thing. I'm going to press E to extrude and pull up, and I want to straighten this, so I'm going to press SZ0. And maybe I'll just drag this and this, and I'll scale in the X to make it a little bit narrower now that I think about it. So you can see the joint back into solid view. So you can see that this cylinder comes right out of this, and the points are merged. You could just place a cylinder on here and that would be fine, but this is an easy way to do this, and then you can do whatever else you need to do. If you want to create a little lip-like thing. Now if you want to shade smooth, you may want to bring in some edge loops like this and this, not too tight, like that, down here. And of course I would need more up here, and I'd probably do some beveling. So you'd get this. And this look right here is because of the cavity shader. All right. And if you want, you can add a subdivision surface if you really don't care about your polys. Okay. So we have now looked at 2 uses of the shear tool. And that's the Blender tip.